Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited for our PD podcast discussion tonight, you guys. I loved listening to the podcast. I hope you guys got a chance to listen to it. It was by Jenna Kutcher's Gold Digger podcast, and it was called How I Doubled My Instagram Growth. And I believe you can find it at jennakutcherblog.com/Instagram-growth. I think that's correct. So raise your hand if you guys were able to listen to it. Show me your nails. Show me your nails with your hands raised. Yay! I loved it. It was so good. I took lots of notes, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. So please chime into the discussion so we can all learn from each other. One of the things, the main gist of the call of the thing was that she said the way that she doubled her Instagram growth was she was like experimenting, and the way that she doubled her Instagram growth was by putting more pictures of herself on Instagram. And first of all, I loved that Jenna is such a nerd when it comes to numbers and metrics and things like that. I am not that way, but I know how helpful it is when you pay attention to those statistics. When you start looking at, seeing what's working well and what isn't working well. And so the way she stumbled upon this was she noticed that all of her posts that had pictures of her in it did, I think, was it 3 times better? She said 3 times better, like engagement wise, than the posts that didn't. And so I thought that was really, really interesting. And so I'm going to open it up to you guys. Well, I want to know your guys' thoughts on all of that, and I will chime in as well. Does anyone have any thoughts when they were listening? Maren, hang on, let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I actually have been trying this for over the last week or two, because I've loved, maybe just the last week, but I love Jenna Kutcher, and this particular training, I guess, podcast, that's what it's called. It really hit home, because you have to be vulnerable, and you have to put yourself out there. And today is my 10-year anniversary of my divorce date. And so I posted this picture of me 10 years ago. Yeah, thank you. I see some applause there. It's a big deal. And so I call it my second Independence Day. And I posted all this stuff. If you want to go read it, it's facebook.com/Maren Michelle. By all means, have at it. But it was really vulnerable, and it was a picture of me from 10 years ago. So people are like, why is she posting this old picture? And then they read the thing, and it's just I feel like I usually get maybe 20, 30 likes. It's already up to 140 on Facebook. Instagram it's trying to catch up, but I posted it on my personal Instagram and my business one. So it's just it really makes a difference, not just your face, but be a little vulnerable so you can be relatable, and you'll draw, you always say, I'm going to misquote you, your vibe attracts your tribe, or
Yes.
Is that the saying? Yeah. So definitely, and I posted, I shared it in my VIP group as well, with all this for further details of my husband was abusive and all this other, I put him in jail, and everybody was like, yes, and they were mine is 9 years, and someone else said I'm coming up on 4 years. And so it's just kind of and I sponsored a giveaway in this other group, and so I got tons of new followers. So just to be more not followers, but in my VIP group, but to be more real, and to be more out there and vulnerable, it totally makes a difference. And so now I've got these new people in my group that already feel like we have a connection, and I've gone live a couple times since they've joined too. So it's just kind of, I don't know, but it really helps. So yes, definitely, if you haven't listened to it, listen to it again. If you listened to it already, listen to it again.
No matter what, just listen to it again. I love that, Marion. It's so true. Sharing, I think often we see everyone's highlight reel on social media, and I think that people are kind of burnt out on it. And I really think it's time to start just sharing the real deal, the everyday life. I know that I used to be have this, like, I've got to be perfect on social media. And I would, try to share everything. I mean, I'm a photographer, so I'm all about making things pretty and aesthetic. And so a lot of my posts would be perfect. And I just felt like I had to have this perfect presence and appear like I had a perfect life. And I've noticed that when I am just more like, here's the hot mess that is me, people can connect that more, Marion. And because I think people are just so sick of here's my perfect life and everything, And so I love that you shared that. So yeah, and she even said to get on your Instagram stories. That's one of the things I love about Instagram is Instagram stories. I know Facebook stories are now here. I don't use them as much, but I love Instagram stories so much because I feel like I can just be like I feel like I can be more raw and real and vulnerable and just be like, hey, here's, like today I was talking about how yesterday I was talking about how I have a giant bug bite on my cheek, and like talking about how I have a love-hate relationship with early out days, and like just sharing on your stories, like your everyday behind the scenes life. That's what I love about Instagram stories. And they're only 50 seconds. You don't have to say anything mind-blowing. It's just kind of you and what you're up to and your thoughts. And so I love that she said she didn't really like doing stories for a while. And now she's just enjoying just being like, this is me. Take it or leave it. Like you said, Marion, your vibe attracts your tribe. If they're not, if they're not your people, they'll unfollow you, and that's okay. Like, it's okay if you guys have people unfollow me every single day. And that's okay because they're not my people. Like, and so just sharing who you are. Any other thoughts? Any things that stood out to you, Paula? I'm trying to.
Oh no, I have potato hands, so I was like trying to touch my phone without touching my phone to say I accept the unmuting. Well, I'm not a big Instagrammer, and I try to throw things out there every once in a while. I'm more on Facebook, but it was really funny to me because when I listened to the podcast, I posted on both Facebook and Instagram a picture of me with my director pin because, all of us are getting our pins. And I posted a picture of yes. So I've been a director for a few months now, on and off. Some months are harder to maintain than others, but I posted the picture. And it was so funny because my own husband said, hey, we're going to celebrate mom's, promotion. And I was like, well, I've been a director for a while now. It was just a recent, just a perk that the company sent out. And he was like, what? And I realized to myself that I guess in a sense, I haven't really been posting enough about the business and about like my successes and about, the ups and downs of just the business in general. Because my own husband didn't even know. Now, granted, men tend to forget things. But if the man that I live with and sleep with every single day doesn't remember these things, then likely the audience on Facebook or Instagram is also going to have the same issues. So I kind of thought, well, I guess we shouldn't even be afraid to like repeat ourselves as far as our content goes, so some people might say, oh, but they're going to get tired of hearing, me talking about the business all the time, or tired of me talking about my vulnerable side. But really, people don't pay that much attention to what you're putting out there. And even when they do, they forget because, it's not their life. It's yours. So there's no reason for them to really keep up with what's going on with you. So I just kind of, this is only the second day that I've like tried taking pictures of myself and posting them like more consistently, because I used to do it a lot when I was pregnant, because let's face it, I was a hot mama when I was pregnant. And ever since this baby came into Earthside, I've been a major hot mess. It's harder to get ready when your baby is outside than when you're inside, than when they're inside. So anyway, long story short, I just realized that it is really essential. Like I love the fact that she said to just post pictures of yourself, because I really did get a lot of feedback, a lot of comments right away. Like within an hour of posting, there were like 50 likes and like 3 comments or 4 comments. Nothing compared to like posts where it's just a random, oh, it's sunny outside, it's California, yay, you know. So and then I was looking through my Instagram feed, which isn't a big, you know, it's not great, but all the messages that I have received, oh, you should collab with me and you should collab with me, exactly what she said. They were always on pictures of myself, pictures of my face. And so it was really, I loved her podcast because she was really relatable. She was really real. It wasn't like, oh, do this and then do that. It was just like, she was just being really real. And it was really a really simple tactic, you know, to do, is to just really love yourself. Take a picture. No matter the picture that I posted, I was in my PJs and I had no makeup on. The only thing that it was because I was talking about being a director, and you know, and I just thought something so simple. You don't always have to have the perfect makeup. You don't always have to have the nice hair. You know, you just put yourself out there, and people, it will attract people. I even got someone asking me, so what is it that you do from home that it's making you money? You know, so someone that I don't know if there's anything that's going to come of it, because I know they're very skeptical on a lot of things. But I just sent her some info, and hopefully, you know, something comes of it, and maybe nothing will, but that's fine. You know, just the fact that I was able to follow that advice, and that I did get feedback that maybe I wouldn't have if I hadn't had posted that picture. It shows me that it makes sense. Like what she was saying really does make sense. So that's kind of what I took from it.
I love it. I love what you said about your husband not even knowing. And you guys, I've said this before too. If you don't post it, it never happens. That's because I've had people who, I never posted pictures of my husband. I've shared this before, because he doesn't like to be in the camera. And I had a lot of people that were like, oh, like, did you get a divorce? People that, you know, didn't live by me anymore. And I was like, no, my husband's not in the picture. So again, you kind of have to like post it. And that's why it's important to repeat your content. Marion wrote in the comments, people spend like 2 to 5 seconds on your post. You can totally repeat your content. And then Lindy said, we are needles in a giant haystack on other social media. So yeah, that's why I think it's so important to post a picture of yourself, is because when people are scrolling, they don't always look at the username, especially on Instagram. But if they see your face, they're like, oh, there's Jessica. Oh, there's Paola, you know? So that's why it's so important. Jessica, were you going to say something? Okay, let me unmute you. Hang on here. You do it there.
Are we there? Okay. So I think that's one of the things that people love about Jenna Kutcher's Instagram profile, and I think it's something we can all learn from, is that her pictures are not perfect. She is there in her not perfect body, in hair in a messy, frizzy bun, and she's like, this is who I am. You can love my Hot Mess Express, follow my journey. And I think a lot of people really are like, yes, girl, I want to follow all of this frizzy hair, mom bun thing you got going on. And I was really bad, and I struggle with trying to find that perfect picture of like making sure my hair is good and making sure my makeup's all right and what am I wearing. And to look at her, to really analyze her profile, she's like, I mean, there's so many pictures of her with like obviously messy, frizzy bun hair, and showing like her curves, and you know, she talks about how she struggles with her weight and she does things to work on it, but here she is in her bikini. And I'm like, yes, I can do that. People can see this like what you guys get to see in my pajamas and my fun. And that's what people want to see. People want to be able to relate to that.
Yes, so much. Yeah, she's a perfect example of it. Totally. And I love I love that she said, I wrote this down because I liked it so much. She said, I do not love my body the way it is, but I started to see the worthiness, my worthiness in a new way. She said, I was worthy of being documented. I love that because you don't have to necessarily, have 100% confidence. You don't have to, love everything about your looks or whatever, but you are worth documenting, right? Like she talks about this a lot in other podcasts too, that your social media is your legacy. And she talks about how she had a friend pass away, and the friend, when he passed away, they scrolled through his feed to reminisce about him. And she said that's what she wants her feed to be about. So, to represent her life and including her imperfections and, who she was. And so your legacy is worth documenting. And one thing I have noticed sometimes, like when I get a new stylist that signs up with me, I'll get them on the phone and we'll talk about, how to get started right. And then I will stalk their social media and talk about how it's like a reality show. And you want to be the star of your own reality show. And oftentimes when I'm stalking their social media, I'll say, I need to see more pictures of you. You're the star of your reality show. You don't watch reality shows where you only see like just the kids in the reality show or just the scenery in the reality show, right? You need to see the star. Like think of, I just watched an episode of Fixer Upper today with my son. It's like our special little bonding moment on early out days. And like, it would be boring if the show only showed the house and not the actual star of the show. If Joanna Gaines wasn't in front of the camera, if Chip wasn't in front of the camera, I would be slightly bored, right? We connect to the faces and the person. And so that's why it's so important to be in front of the camera. And I love that she said, you are an influencer. You guys, every single one of you watching this are an influencer. You influence someone out there. There is someone watching your posts that is influenced by you. I know I've been influenced by many of your posts. And you just never know who you can help, who you can influence and impact. Any thoughts on that? I guess here's what I would love to discuss. I think a lot of us get in our own ways, right? And we're like, well, I'm not worthy, right? Or my life is not that exciting. I'm not doing anything that's special, right? So how do you guys get over those thoughts? Does anyone have anything they want to say regarding that? Or things that she said regarding that stood out to you? Anyone? Silence.
I'll talk for a second.
Okay, let's hear it, girl.
I didn't see the podcast yet. I'm going to go back and listen to it, but okay. I think my biggest thing is that I just don't feel like every day I have interesting stuff to post, between working 2 businesses now and just keeping up with everyday life. I mean, do people really want to see me grocery shopping? Do they want to see me doing my laundry? Because that's really all I'm doing. I'm an empty nester now. I'm not married. I don't even have a dog or a cat like that I could cuddle with and take cute pictures with. So I feel like I'm at the most boring phase of my life other than the excitement of work, and work, which is all I seem to do anymore. Been paying for a gym membership since December that I haven't used, so it's like, I just feel like, what can I post today? More Nalfie pictures. And I just feel, I just feel like I just don't have anything interesting to offer that's even going to be engaging for people.
Right.
So
Um,
I feel pretty boring at this phase of my life. I'm working on that. Maybe
Yeah.
one of these days I'll get a boyfriend.
No, you're not alone. I think a lot of people feel that way. I mean, there's many days where I'm just like sitting at my desk working, and then I go have lunch in my kitchen, and then I go back and work, and then then my kids come home from school. It's like there's a lot of like,
No, Kelly, no, you have vacations and 4 kids and a husband, and you're just so much more fun than I am. And when my son does come home on leave, which he'll be home on the 8th to the 20th, I'll take pictures, and for those brief moments that he's home on leave, I'll have someone exciting to talk about in my life. So I look forward to those moments of sharing.
Here's the thing. People are naturally curious about other people, right? So like, I love people watching. I love people watching in the grocery store. I love people watching in the airport. We are curious what other people do. People are curious about what you buy at the grocery store, Charisma, or, what you're doing for work. Like, I know for a fact that you do photography and Color Street, and like, how do you juggle both? And I know you do, like, you have a really cool business model for photography. So sharing about those things and like figuring out your brand, your 5 favorite things. So for you, it could be photography. It can be, it could even be food, like the food that you eat. People are curious. I'm always curious, like, what do people eat? Like, or what's their go-to meal for lunch? Like, I'm always running out of ideas for lunch, or an inspiration, like sharing quotes. That's such a simple thing to share, but being inspirational like that, I think you just have to kind of catch yourself in the moment of things, of like, oh, this is like something that might help someone else, or this is something that's interesting or unique, or this is something that's part of my 5 favorite things, in your branding. So Charisma, you might have to do a little, like, ask some of your friends, when you think of me, what do you think of? And, and sharing what empty nesting looks like. A lot of people aren't at that stage, and they're curious what it looks like, right? So Jessica, were you going to say something? Let me unmute you. Okay.
Okay. I want to say too that personal development has helped me come up with social media content, because I take nuggets of things that I love or have learned, and then I'll make like a little quote graphic, or I'll take a picture of me, and then I have something to write about for Instagram, or to go with a selfie on Instagram, or even on Facebook. And so I've kind of been using that PD that I'm doing every day, and then like pushing it back out. This is what I'm reading. This is what I'm listening to. Here's some good nuggets. And then also I've become a collector of like quotes, of like inspirational quotes. And I think a lot of us do that. And so I push that out for content a lot too. So that's another idea of things you can use, but use a picture of yourself with that quote, like, hey, I like my outfit today. Here's some good quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, I love that. That's such a great idea, Jessica.
I do come up with ideas because I do keto. So I do different keto meals, and I do green smoothies. And then I think about these posts, but then I forget about them again if I don't do them right away. Like, oh yeah, maybe I could post about that green smoothie I made. But plus too, I have 3 different Instagram pages and like a bunch of different Facebook pages now. So balancing all of that is also a little bit of torture that I'm trying to get a grip on, because I'm still new at this too. Yeah. So
another thing is to get in the habit of taking pictures. Always take pictures.
Well, I do that.
One thing that I've found helpful is to have a Google Photos account that your photos go into, because it lets you search. So I can pull up Google Photos on my computer or my phone and search food, and it will pull up every picture I've taken of food.
Interesting.
Or
I love that app that was on one of the trainings called Beautiful. that one that they told us about. Do you remember, Jessica? That beautiful. Oh, I am obsessed with that now. I have like 30 folders on that all the time already. And it's the app that's like $5, and you can take all your photos from your iPhone and put them in different folders and then delete them off your iPhone to free up your storage, because you can't do that with the albums on the iPhone. And I'm in love with that app, and I have been creating a folder for quotes and things like that. Different pictures that I've been taking, I'll put them in the separate things. Just getting around to doing the posts, and I've never done a story yet. I need to venture into doing a story. I did get creative with a little video on my Facebook page about printers and being sick of the scam that it is for cartridges. So I finally found an inkjet printer, and I did a whole big video on that. So I'm getting a little more warmed up in doing some things like that.
Yeah.
I just still find myself to be pretty boring, but maybe somebody else won't. I don't know.
Charisma, I bet there's plenty of women in the same situation as you that probably are empty nesters and think that they're alone, that they have nothing to talk about, you know. And if you were to post something like that, like say, you know what, I'm sitting here watching a movie, or I don't know what next series to watch or something. What are your suggestions? Or even, I miss my son. You know, like put it out there. Don't be afraid to feel. But don't feel, again, like I said, you know, I posted about becoming a director, and I've been a director for a few months, and everybody was congratulating me as if it had just happened. And it was because either they don't remember that I posted about it, or I didn't post about it, or, you know, like I'm telling you, my husband is like, oh, congrats. I was like, yeah, that happened a few months ago, but this is a new pin. You can say thank you, you know, thank you for congratulating me on the pin. But, you know, so don't ever feel like, oh, you're like, they already know that I'm lonely. They already know that I miss my son. Like, don't, if you're feeling it and you just, maybe you don't have anyone to talk to, just put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, post a picture of yourself. Don't be afraid to feel, to be vulnerable with others, because I guarantee that there's someone on your feed that's feeling exactly what you're feeling right now. So you might think, hey, I'm boring, I have nothing going on, but you never know when that one person will come across your post and say, Charisma, thank you for that post. I'm feeling exactly what you're feeling. And I just you know, it really brought hope to me, or whatever. You know, they might reach out and they might say, I never knew that about you, you know? So it's just, don't ever feel like, oh, this is not worth posting, because your life, like Kelly was saying, because in the podcast, read it, listen to it. I mean,
Okay.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Because she really does remind you that your life you're worthy for people to know about you, you know, and they won't know about you unless you post about it.
And just to document, it's almost like a photo journal, you know, like having that photo journal is I think it's important legacy to leave. So I love that she said your story matters. Like, I love that was one of the quotes she said your story matters. And she said one of the main purposes for posting on social media was serving and storytelling. I love those two purposes, like serving and storytelling. That is what you're doing on social media. You're not selling, you're serving others, you're sharing your story, and your story matters. And she also said, I wrote down so many good quotes. The world wants you. And she said, so show up. And I loved, it's almost like it has double meaning. Show up, meaning show up and actually do the post, but also show up, meaning show your face, girl. Like, get in the picture. So, because if you've got to be the star of your reality show. That's how people really connect with you. And that's one of the things she said in the podcast, where she said her audience really like engaged and interacted even more with her when she started doing more of those pictures of her. And she said she did 40 out of 40 posts that she did in February. There were only 8 that did not have a picture of her. So I went and counted mine on Instagram. I'm Kelly France on Instagram, and in the last month I don't know how many posts I did but 28 of them were pictures of me. So it's really powerful because I feel like people get to know you and relate to you. And there's a discussion in the chat that says, how do you get photos of you? And then Marin commented and said, Kelly asks strangers all the time, which is true. I will tell someone, hey, can you take this picture of me? And I will literally set it up. So Jenna Kutcher talked about her system where she has her husband act like he's her, and he'll go in the spot and she'll set it up, and then she'll have, and she'll say, this is what I want to, she'll take it, and then she'll say, this is what I want it to look like. And then she will go get, and they'll trade places. So I do it pretty similar where I will just set it up and I'll say, Kate, you're going to hold it right here. I'm like, stand right here, hold it right here. And then I run and go get in place. So it's pretty similar. And even with strangers, I do that. I'm like, Kate, hold it here. Okay. All right. And I'm like, take a whole bunch. Because you guys, like she said, her husband will take a whole bunch and maybe one of them will turn out. So asking strangers, ask your husband, ask your kids, use a tripod, use the timer and set it on a shelf or a book. Get creative. But like Lindy said, start getting a pool of photos. So anytime you do eat something yummy, anytime you do go somewhere really fun, anytime, even when you're working, getting photos of you working, you got to represent your life, right? And so taking photos all the time has really helped me to be able to come up with content. And so sometimes I'll post photo. In fact, today I posted a photo I took like 6 months ago. So they don't always have to be in real time. I just put them in a pool of photos that I can use eventually. And Lindy says, on a good hair day, change your shirt and get multiple shots. Amen to that. Because we all know good hair days are not every day, right? So when you have a good hair day, when you put on your makeup, whatever, and even when you don't, like Jessica was saying, even when you don't and you got a top knot and you're not wearing makeup, like do that too. But that's how just really starting a pool of photos, I think has really, really helped me to come up with content and, and I share based on my brand on my 5 favorite things. And so people can get to know me through, my voice and my photos. So let's see. Oh, a couple other things she talked about. We have about 5 more minutes before we have to wrap it up. She talked about engagement, and she said a good engagement number is about between 1 and 3% of your followers. So, so keep that in 1 and 3.5% engagement of your followers. And she said when she was posting pictures of herself, she was getting way more than that. And she said, and so for engagement, she said, stop posting and ghosting. I loved that. This is something I am guilty of. I'll post and ghost. I'll be like, here's my post. Peace out. In fact, I literally just did a post right before this call. I just posted and ghosted right before this call. I clicked send and then I started the call. She said, are you using social media? Are you being social on social media? And I was like, crap. Like sometimes it's hard to always like sit around and comment or whatever. And she said, obviously you don't need to be on your phone 24/7, but when you do a post, try to stick around for a few minutes and interact with the people that comment, and get that engagement going and be social. So that's something that I am striving to work on. And sometimes I'll post it and then I'll have to go back and catch up on the comments as much as I can. But I just love that idea of like keeping it social, including commenting on other people's posts too. Let's see. What else was I going to say? Anyone else want to share thoughts on engagement? Ooh, and one more thing that I loved before someone raises their hand. was she said, when is the last time you have experimented? And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that word so much because I think everyone gets scared about trying new things, right? But I love the word experiment. Like, and she literally said, I just want to see what happens. And that is literally the phrase I said to myself when I joined Color Street. I just want to see what happens. Let's just see what happens. And it's been such a blessing to my family. And so I was like, I love that word experiment. It means, like, the word experiment means it might blow up in your face, right? Like, it may or may not work out, and that's okay. You know that you're just being curious and trying new things. And that's what makes marketing fun. So she was talking about having fun on social media, make it fun again. So if it's not fun for you, find a way to make it fun again. Maybe it's, for me, I love taking pictures. I used to be a photographer, so for me, it's fun to edit the photos. I love that part about it. I could get lost in the editing part. Maybe you love writing, so maybe, enjoying taking a little more time to write out your content. Maybe it's just the interacting. Maybe you're super awesome at connecting with people and building relationships. And so, just sitting, engaging with your audience, but find a way to make it fun for you. Maybe that means you going live and doing a series. Maybe that means styling your shoots, your nail fees, or whatever. Just make it fun again. And so we're almost out of time, so I'm probably not going to open it up for interactions, but that was probably one of my favorite things too, was she said, stop treating the app like it's life or death. Like, it's just an app, guys. So have fun with it. Try some new things and do what she does and see what works. So instead of just trying new things, she went back and she looked. You guys, you can look on Instagram and you can see your insights on Instagram. If you look in the top upper hand corner, there's 3 lines. It shows you your insights. It will show you your top posts. It will show you the the best time of day that your audience is on. There's so many fun, nerdy stats that you can check out on Instagram. So make sure to pay attention to those too, so you can continue doing what works well for you. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, listen to it. It was great. And guys, get in front of the camera. We want to see you. People, you are worthy. You are worth documenting. So share more of your life. And thanks you guys for watching. Bye.